Interview preparation part 3. What does the docker info command do? The command gets details information about Docker installed on the host system. The information can be like what is the number of the containers or images and in what state they are running, and hardware specification like total memory allocated, speed of the processor, kernel version, etc. Can you tell what are the purpose of up, run, and start commands of Docker Compose? Using the up command for keeping a Docker composing up ideally at all times, we can start or restart all the network services and drivers associated with the app that are specified in the docker compose.yaml file. Now, if we are running the Docker Compose up in the attached mode, then all the logs from the container would be accessible to us. In case the Docker Compose is run in the detached mode, then once the containers are started, it just exits and shows no logs. So using the run command, the Docker Compose can run one of or ad hoc tasks based on the business requirements. Here the service name has to be provided and the Docker starts only that specific service and also the other services to which the target service is dependent, if any. So this command is helpful for testing the containers and also performing tasks such as adding or removing data to the container volumes, etc., etc. Using the start command, only those containers can be restarted which were already created and then stopped. This is not useful for creating new containers on its own. What are the basic requirements for the Docker to be run on any system? Docker can run on both Windows and Linux platforms. So for Windows, Docker at least needs Windows 10, 64-bit with 2 GB RAM space. For the lower versions, Docker can be installed by taking help of the toolbox. Docker can be downloaded from the official documentation of Docker website. But for Linux, Docker can be run on various Linux flavors such as Ubuntu, Fedora, Red Hat, CentOS, etc. Can you tell the approach to log in to the Docker registry? Using the Docker login command, credentials to log in to their own cloud repositories can be entered and accessed. So we will use Docker login command. List the most commonly used instruction in Docker file. The from, this is used to set the base image for upcoming instructions. A Docker file is considered to be valid if it starts with the from instruction. The label, this used for image organization based on projects, modules, or licensing. It also helps in automation as we specify a key value there while defining a label that can be later accessed and handled programmatically. The run, this also used to execute instructions following on the top of the current image in a new layer. Note that with each run command execution, we add layers on top of the image and then we use that in subsequent steps. We have the CMD. This command is used to provide the default values of an existing container. In cases of multiple CMD, the last instruction would be considered. Can you differentiate between daemon logging and container logging? Daemon logging actually is kind of logging that has 4 levels: debug, info, error, and fatal. So for the debug, it has all the data that happened during the execution of the daemon process. For the info, it carries all the information along with the error information during the execution of the daemon. Errors have those errors that occurred during the execution of the daemon process. And finally, the fatal has the fatal errors that occurred during the execution. But for the container level logging can be done using the command sudo docker run-it, the container name, then /bin bash. In order to check for the container level logs, we can run the command sudo docker logs as well, or docker logs without using sudo, depends on how you installed Docker. What is the way to establish a communication between Docker host and Linux host? This can be done using networking by identifying the IP config on the Docker host. This command ensures that an Ethernet adapter is created as long as the Docker is present in the host. What is the best way of deleting a container? We need to follow the following 2 steps for deleting a container. Docker stop, then the container ID, then Docker rm, the container ID. So we need to stop it first, then remove it. Can you tell the difference between CMD and entry point? CMD command provides executable defaults for an executing container. In case the executable has to be omitted, then the usage of entry point instruction along with the JSON array format has to be incorporated. Entry point, on the other hand, specify that the instruction within it will always be run when the container starts. So this command to provide an option to configure the parameters and executable. So if the Docker file, for example, it doesn't have this command, then it would still get inherited from base image mentioning in the from instruction. The most commonly used entry point is /bin sh or /bin bash for most of the base images. As part of good practices, every Docker file should have at least one of these two commands. Thanks for watching. I will see you in part 4.